Hello, everyone, and welcome to your Soul Service Astrology update for the week starting the 12th of July. I'm Kel Gunter. I'm a 13-sign sidereal astrologer and the creator of Soul Service Astrology. What is 13-sign sidereal astrology? It is essentially where astronomy is used to divine meaning, energetic meaning from the planets down here for us. But Kellie, isn't that what all astrology is? No, in fact, it is not. Tropical astrology has locked the vernal equinox to 0 degrees Aries, when in fact, as informed by astronomy, the vernal equinox drifts backwards. So it's sitting at approximately 8 to 9 degrees in Pisces at the moment. And that is if you were to look at the constellations, how NASA and the International Astronomical Union divide up the sky. And that's 13-sign sidereal astrology. Why do I think that's important? I think it's really important that we're referring to what we can see in the sky and divining meaning from that. That allows us to step back into connection with the natural cycles because we can see it. We can connect with it. We are part of the sun. The sun controls our circadian rhythms. And the moon certainly has an impact on it because it pulls on the ocean. So, of course, that is a large water body. If it's pulling on those oceans, of course, it's going to be pulling on the water within us. All right, so let's look at this week's astrology. I'm going to show you the chart so you can get an appreciation for what we're looking at here. Okay, so here's the 12th of July. I'm going to change the time. So bear with me. I'm also going to pop up this little, we're going to go by day, and I'm just going to edit the time in here as well. So you can see what an astrologer would do to plot a chart. I haven't got the houses on there for obvious reasons. All right, so the main aspect today is the fact that Mars down here has moved into Leo. So let's talk about that. So you'll notice all the constellations are uneven now. 13-sign sidereal astrology does not refer to neat 30-degree division of the sky. It refers to the International Astronomical Union division of the sky, which has been brought together since the 1920s. So it's been fed very much by astronomy. All right, so let's talk about Mars in Leo. From an archetypal perspective, Mars represents the warrior. It's expressing, or it's going to express over the next few weeks in Leo. Leo is creator energy. Leo is artist energy. Leo is fire. Leo is drama. So we've kind of got a little bit of a burning fire stepping into Mars into Leo at the moment. So you may start to feel like, particularly as it's moved out of Cancer, which is very watery, so it sort of slowed down. Maybe you took some time and you rested. So now you might be gearing up to take some action. You might be gearing up to really get focused on what it is that you want to create, because Leo is really creative energy. All I would say here is keep a cap on your anger and also try and avoid any drama. So we don't want to start judging other people's opinions and getting angry and frustrated and getting involved in drama and gossip, which is probably the shadow side of Mars in Leo. So that's Mars in Leo. Now, over the next 24 hours, Venus here, which is still where I am on the planet in Cancer, will also be moving into Leo. So what does that mean? So we're having a shift here. We're having a shift between Cancer energy into Leo energy. So Venus can be sort of two different types of energy. And traditionally, in the descent of Inanna and traditionally by the Babylonians, Venus was referred to as feminine energy, and she was the goddess of love and war, not just love. We have obviously removed the war aspect. But Venus, I will also refer to Venus as the regenerator, because The story of the descent of Inanna was the story to the Shadowland or the Netherworlds. And that's what we do when we need to go and reflect, when we feel that there's a thought or a feeling in there that is bothering us. Perhaps we've got doubt, confusion, or procrastination. Perhaps we're saying some mean things in our head. And you go and you regenerate. You go in and you notice and you observe. Perhaps you lean into the fear, and then eventually you come out. So Venus in Cancer was probably a bit more of that reflective energy, a bit more of her in regenerator mode. Now she's stepping into Leo. There's a fire. So it's almost like she's ready to really express, and she's ready to step into that connector mode. So perhaps you're feeling that desire, the burning desire to make connections. Perhaps there's a burning desire to make connections with your intimate partners. I would really encourage you to feel that energy in your sacral center, which of course is where our sexual and sensual organs are. Perhaps you want to move your body in a way to start shifting some of that energy. Perhaps you're feeling a bit dull in energy. Certainly where I am, in the part of the world I am in the Southern Hemisphere, it's cold. And where I'm living near Sydney is that I'm in lockdown again. So maybe you need to try some new things to get some stagnant energy moving again. And Venus loves beauty, art, expression, and movement. And in Leo, these are all really well-placed energies to work with. All right, so that is today's energy. Let's have a look at tomorrow. So the 13th. So the main aspect I'd like to draw your attention to, actually there's two. While we're on the Leo energy that's incoming, let's look at Venus and Mars here in conjunction. So I've just spoken individually about the energy of Venus and Mars. A conjunction energy is emerging. Now, if you were to look at them from a very traditional astrological perspective, that is the feminine and the masculine there. You've got the very feminine planet, which was really the only planet out of all the observable ones back in Babylonian times that was given a female gender. The other ones were all masculine. So we have the masculine meeting the feminine in what I would say is a very masculine sign. And I don't want to assign gender to particular energies, because I feel like women can certainly be assertive and men can be compassionate and sensitive. We want to stop sort of saying that men need to be a particular way and that this energy is feminine and this energy is masculine. So clearly the energy of this conjunction, is what's just been channeled through me, is that can we put down our gender narrative? Can we start to feel into women in positions of power, in positions of wisdom, in positions of leadership, in positions of shining out into the world and fully expressing themselves without being sort of shut down, like the Me Too movement, and people have been shut down when they're really expressing themselves, and they may come across as angry. Well, you know, something has happened to them. They're allowed to be angry when they're expressing themselves. And then for the masculine, perhaps it's this energy, it's okay for me to, one, express my authentic feelings. It's okay for me to connect with my body. It's okay for me not to take the lead. It's okay for me to support women. And that being compassionate and sensitive and nurturing and all those things isn't necessarily just female energy. And what's interesting for tomorrow is the moon isn't very far away from this. So you may have been feeling into all these qualities. So what I would suggest that you do with Tuesday's energy is, one, notice any feelings that are coming up for you, because that's the moon. The moon is feeling. Feel into your body. Both the moon and Venus are your body. Ask yourself, what do I really desire? Because sandwiched between those two planets is Mars. And Mars is like an arrow. What do I really desire? What do I really desire in forms of relationship? What do I really desire to feel emotionally connected? What do I really desire to be focusing on right now in my creative pursuits? So there's a few questions that you can ask yourself to really vibe in with that energy for Tuesday. Okay, so let's shift to Wednesday. All right, Wednesday the 14th. Now, please note my, oh no, we're not going to refer to that one. We're going to refer to Jupiter is trine Mercury. So we have Jupiter up here in Aquarius and it's retrograde and it's forming a trine with Mercury in Gemini down here. So the archetypal energy of Jupiter in Aquarius is it's the visionary expander. So Jupiter is the expander and it's in the sign of the visionary. So the expander is really wanting to express their vision. They're really wanting to make the changes that it desires to see in the world. There's this sense of expansion and urgency. Now, the slight handicap here for Jupiter is that it's going backwards. So perhaps you're feeling a little bit antsy about the fact that the changes that you want and the expansion that you want isn't happening fast enough. Or perhaps people aren't hearing you, the right people aren't hearing you. And that flows in quite well, even though this is a trine to Mercury down here, because Mercury is all about our communication and it's also about our mind. So people, if perhaps you're a teacher, people receiving that information and being able to hear it. So that's the retrograde element. Now, this is a trine. So this is easier energy. It is much more flowing energy. So instead of getting stuck in the logical mind, which is Mercury over here in Gemini, and thinking about how we can solve perhaps a feeling of stuckness, perhaps in the way that we want to expand and the way that we want to be heard and the way that we want to be seen and the changes that we want to make in the world and the vision that we're bringing this lifetime, maybe we just need to have a little pause and review, bring the mind on the journey instead of what I think can happen with Jupiter energy. And this is Jupiter up here, if you've just joined us. Jupiter energy can want to expand into this Aquarian and receiving information, and it hangs out in the vision, but it's not checking in with the mind. So there is a little bit more ease here to bring the mind on the journey. So the energy for Wednesday is allow your mind to go on the journey of your story, of your vision. I would write it down first or speak it out first or find a really fun way to get the information out that you would like to convey, because Jupiter and Aquarius like fun. All right, that's Wednesday. Let's move to the 15th of July, which is Thursday. Now, please note my Neptune is not sitting in the right position in my astrology program. Neptune is actually in Aquarius still. If we get out our astronomy app and see where Neptune is, it's sitting in Aquarius. It's not in Pisces. But it is making this trine to the sun. You can see this lovely trine down here to the sun, and that is air energy to air energy. So not in a completely dissimilar vein to what I just spoke about. Neptune is our beacon. So it's basically us as a lighthouse. We want to shine this information out. There's little conscious control of this. This is our subconscious shining our information out. So you've got to be a little bit conscious of what your subconscious is shining out. That sounds a little bit out there, doesn't it? It's going backwards in Aquarius. So there is this vision that we're wanting to be the lighthouse for and shine out there, but perhaps there's a few little subconscious fears, doubt, worry, procrastination, confusion, self-loathing. All those sorts of things can feed into dimming our light. Now, with this trine, the sun is calling us, because Neptune is in retrograde, the sun is calling us to shine. Let your story be the key to unlocking you as the beacon, because it's in Gemini, and Gemini is the storyteller. So it's our sun, it's our creative, artistic expression wanting to come out of us and shine into the world through our message and our story. And we all have a message and a story. And in particular, if you're a soul service provider or an intuitive guide, you have an archetypal journey that you've been on. It's not all about your skills and your modalities and your certifications. If you are not sharing the journey that you have been on, you are not fully stepping into your beacon and your vision, because all of that is part of you as a service provider, your story. So that's what I feel that trine is about. Really allowing yourself to share your authentic story and shine that out. And it's with this retrograde energy, it may feel a little bit difficult, even though it's a trine, right? Because Neptune is retrograde. So we're trying to reprogram perhaps some beliefs or thoughts or feelings we have about the fact that, no, I only ever talk about my skills and my strengths, but maybe Neptune in Aquarius is calling you to talk more about your intuitive gifts. Maybe it's calling you more to talk about, okay, what's the journey that you've been on with your mystical and intuitive gifts? So that's the 15th of July, Thursday. Let's look at Friday. Friday the 16th. Okay, Chiron, which is, it was given the categorization of an asteroid, but it's been downgraded to a comet, but it's been included in the charts since 1977. And it will now appear to go backwards in the sky. So that means it is also shifting retrograde. So Chiron is the alchemist. And it's exactly what I just spoke about. Our alchemy is not just dependent on the skills that we've learned, the training that we've done, and the experience at our career or a job that we've had. There's this whole other layer to ourselves. One, there's the collective unconscious, which is a field that you can access to support your soul's ascension this lifetime. And then number two, you have been on an archetypal journey. Some of it may have been really shit, but you have overcome things. And it's those things that you've overcome that has helped you continue on your life's journey. And it's those things that you've overcome that there are people out there wanting to hear from you. So when Chiron goes into retrograde in Pisces, it's about starting to go back into our archetypal story, going back into a bit more of our mystical nature, perhaps deepening into our devotional practices and really reconnecting with the things that have supported us to awaken our soul. So there's the message in that. That's definitely a message for me. I had been floundering a little bit with my devotional practices. And I think this Chiron retrograde period, and now actually quite a big retrograde period with 5 of the outer bodies all going backwards, is that we can check in with our devotional practices, how we connect with ourselves, and then how we connect with the collective unconscious and how we connect with our subconscious, to start just checking in. Because if you're not checking in with your subconscious, then you're not going to be able to shine out and be the beacon, which what Pisces is. The alchemical mystic is Chiron in Pisces, really calling for us to step into our spiritual nature again, which is what you'll hear me talking a lot about. Soul Service Astrology, 13 sign Sidereal Astrology is a tool to allow you to go in deeper to your subconscious, into consciousness, collective unconscious, the unified field, source, God, spirit, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so that is Friday the 16th. Let's go to Saturday the 17th of July. I think it's pretty obvious if you've stayed with me as I'm clicking through the chart. This aspect popped up quite robustly. Pluto in Sagittarius retrograde opposite the sun in Gemini. Let's talk about the archetypal qualities connected with Pluto in Sagittarius. Pluto is the destroyer. It is uncontrollable destruction. Basically, how does that come up in your life? There's things going on in your life that you cannot control. In Sagittarius, it's really about our beliefs in ourselves, it's our faith in ourselves, and it's our trust in ourselves. In retrograde, the energy of this aspect, Pluto in Sagittarius, is for us to surrender. Surrender to what is, deepen into your faith in yourself, and you can do that through belief work. So clearing out any beliefs that are in your subconscious basement, which is what Pluto controls. So if you're feeling uncomfortable with anything that's going on in the collective at the moment, lean into that energy, and then that's where you can dive deeper into your subconscious and clear out anything that's not serving you there. Now, in opposition to the sun, it's almost like the sun in Gemini is shining a light on this part of ourselves. Like, don't forget that your subconscious here is needing a little bit of your work. Don't forget that I want you to express yourself authentically. I want you to share your message authentically. I want you to shine authentically, but we can't have any mean minds programming that expression, because if we do, then we're basically not being authentic. So if we don't examine what's in our subconscious and we let it come out without examining, then we're basically hamstringing ourselves, or we're not, that our clients won't see us. Because this is an opposition, so it's kind of seesaw energy, you might go into just talking and hoping. So it's kind of like throwing spaghetti at the wall. Or you might shut down. I'm not going to talk at all. So you're going more into this aspect. With an opposition, it's calling for us to find a balance between both. You can be working on yourself. You can be stepping into deeper faith and trust and beliefs in yourself, all the while expressing and sharing your story and being who it is you're being called to be this lifetime and sharing your message. You don't need to be perfect to share your message. There's no main aspect for Sunday. So all I would encourage you to do on Sunday is notice what's come up for you throughout the week. So you've listened to my little weekly update on Sunday. Sundays are a great day to have some fun, to stop and reflect and to rest. That's what they've always been. And I would really call for you to do that, because it is the sun's day. And after that transit, the Pluto opposite sun, which would still be in effect on Sunday, you can stop and reflect on anything that came up for you during the week. So this is how I use it, and this is how I step into my intuition. I noticed what happened over the week, and then I feel what happened, and then I notice, what was the learning or the teaching from that? Is that something new? Is that something I've experienced or not experienced before? And then I journal on that, and I see what epiphany I have, what comes up for me. So that is the experiential way of using what I've brought up for you this week. So listen to the archetypal energy, connect in with your experience and your perspective where you are right now, and then observe what comes up, and then write it down, speak it out. There's a lot of Leo energy, so maybe you want to make a dance or some art or a painting and just notice. And that's how you step into the experiential experience that is soul service astrology and 13 sign sidereal astrology. So I'm Kellie Gunter. If you would like to find more information out about me, you can go to my website, kelliegunter.com. I do birth chart evaluations, and that takes you deeper into your archetypal blueprint this lifetime. So if you are interested in having a birth chart session with me, go to my website and check that out. If you would like more information on the planets on a regular basis, come and join my free group, Sidereal Stars with Kellie Gunter, in Facebook. Have a glorious day. Bye.